Kira from KiraWilliamsFitness.com, and welcome back to my podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here, and now that I am a nutritional therapy practitioner, we are going to dive into more of like the deeper issues. I've been a personal trainer since 2010 and a nutrition coach, and primarily working on fat loss with my female clients, and that hasn't changed. It's not going to change. I am still very passionate about this because I believe that we all deserve to feel good about how we look and feel good in our bodies and have confidence. And yeah, our appearance plays a huge role in that. And there's absolutely no shame in wanting to look better and to feel better. And as I've been a personal trainer since 2010, I have realized that my women need deeper support. If the answer was eat right, exercise, we would all have the exact body that we wanted. But it goes deeper than that. There are bigger issues. And as a nutritional therapy practitioner, I can help support you on that journey through those deeper issues. So today I want to talk about why getting to the root cause is so vital, because regardless of regardless of what your precise goal is, if you're not getting to the root cause of the issue, or regardless of what your issue is, if you're not getting to the root cause of it, then you are simply slapping on a Band-Aid. And we all know what happens. The Band-Aid falls off and the Band-Aid wears out, and then we're back at ground zero. So by addressing the root cause, we are actually getting to the root of the issue, solving it, so that way we can move forward and it's no longer a problem. So it's kind of like if you when you're a teenager and you had acne and you would just use like, gosh, this is how old I am, Neutrogena astringent. But doing things like that to solve the acne always comes back. And usually that's a gut health issue, that's a digestion issue or a hormonal issue. And if you can solve, let's say it's a gut bacteria issue, you can solve that, your acne goes away and you don't have to deal with it anymore. So why wouldn't we get at the root cause of things? It's going to, it might be a little harder at first, but it's ultimately the solution, not a Band-Aid. So that's one of the biggest things when it comes to like root cause. Like there are no quick fixes. I mean, there's not even just in everything in life, there's no quick fixes for anything, because it's going to break again. It's like the person who's driving down the highway who's like, they don't have a window and they've just got like the plastic bag stuck on it. Well, you know what's going to happen when it rains? That person can't go through the car wash. You're going to get wet. So you have to ultimately get that fixed. Otherwise, like, your car is going to be a mess. So no quick fixes. Like, let's just get at the root of this. And that's why I went through school for the last year, so I could help you get to the root cause of things so that you can feel better. You're not tired all the time. You're not struggling with acne. You're not struggling with like not being able to sleep because you're too wired, and you're not dealing with fatigue all day throughout the day. You're not dealing with that belly fat that just doesn't budge no matter what you do. We can get to the root cause of these things together, and you're going to feel so much better. And yes, it takes effort, but like, why waste your time doing all of the silly stuff that isn't going to really make a difference in the end? So yeah, it might feel like a lot at first, but I hate doing the same. I hate doing the same thing over again. So in the end, it is more time, but it's less wasted time. So we go through life and we have these symptoms, and the symptoms might mean bloating or gassiness after meals. It may be like fatigue, afternoon sluggishness and tiredness. It may be, like I said, like skin issues, like acne, eczema, itchiness, hives. It could be allergies. That's actually one for me, is I have histamine tolerance issues. My body doesn't, like every single person, we all have histamine in our body. Our body can create more histamines based on certain things that we eat, like eggplant, for example. When I was younger, it used to make my lips itch. Now I understand why that happens. That is a food. There are foods that have histamine. There are foods that release histamine in the body. And our bodies all have a certain level of tolerance for histamines. And mine just happens to be lower. A lot of people who I talk to and work with who have allergies have histamine tolerance issues. And there are certain things that you can do to make your body more tolerant of them. And there are certain things that you can do in your body that will stress the body out more, and you struggle more with, itchy eyes and like runny nose. These are all symptoms. Maybe you deal with blood sugar imbalance and you have really bad cravings. Maybe you deal with anxiety from getting low blood sugar. Maybe you are dealing with like the inability to lose fat. These are all symptoms, and you don't have to go through life with them. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up, have energy, have sustained energy throughout your day, to feel like you can conquer anything, to be in a good mood, to not having insane cravings that are like nearly debilitating, to be able to sleep well at night, to not have like low grade depression all the time, to not being itchy, to not feeling like you're constantly congested, not getting sick all the time. Like, imagine going through life like that. Wouldn't that feel amazing? Because all of those things are just symptoms. They're like the check engine light of your car going off saying like, hey, I need attention. I need attention. That's all these symptoms are of the body. And you don't have to go through life with these issues. There are ways that we can fix them. So we want to, let me tell you about, I just finished wrapping up a little protocol for a client, and these were some of the things that she deals with: bloat and gassiness after meals, all day fatigue. She has arthritis, and she can't lose weight. And she kind of has that like wired but tired feeling, and just like wakes up every night between 2 and 4 a.m. without fail. So those are her symptoms. And so what we are doing with her is we are working to support her stress levels. She deals with some mental stress and emotional stress, but a lot of it is physical stress. Because, for example, she only drinks about 40 to 60 ounces of water a day. That is a physical stressor on the body. So she deals with stress. There's probably some blood sugar regulation going on there, which could contribute to the not being able to lose fat, and also the waking up in the middle of the night. Sometimes you can get blood sugar dips, and then the cortisol gets released. That wakes you up because the cortisol brings your blood sugar up. So, but that cortisol wakes you up. Or it could be dumping of the sugar at night. And I happen to know what this client eats because we went through a food journal too, and she doesn't eat a ton of sugar. So I can kind of rule that one out, but I do think that she gets low blood sugar at night. So we're going to be looking to not only increase her protein, because I know she has been working on that as of late, but also slowing down when she eats, adding in more fiber and adding in more fat so that she doesn't get like a peak and then a drop in the middle of the night. We want it to just stay balanced throughout the night. So adding that fat and adding fiber with the protein can be really helpful with that. And then as she has less physical stress, hopefully she'll get to sleep better. Now, as she starts sleeping better, she will not have so much fatigue throughout her day. And then that will also support her adrenals. We're putting her on some herbs that will support her adrenals because that's going to support that stress. And like I said, increasing her water intake and increasing that fat and fiber is going to be helpful. And also getting her to take hydrochloric acid with her meals, because that will help her break down that protein adequately so her body is actually absorbing all of the nutrients from that. So that's just an example. I mean, it sounds fairly simple, and I do try and keep things pretty simple with my people because I only like to make a few changes at a time, because they're going to be more likely to stick with it. Like if I throw the book at somebody, they're going to be like, I'm sorry, this is like a mass overhaul and I'm not doing that. It's not realistic. We already all have enough going on in our lives. So making just a few little changes. And then it also works too, because one thing that I was going to get into later in this was that one of the ways that we do this is we make a couple little changes and we see how that feels. And if it feels really, really good, then I know that we're on to something. If we make a couple little changes and nothing really happens, then we might need to go in another direction. So yeah, symptoms are it's a check engine light, and it's our body telling me that it needs attention. Some of the other things are, stubborn fat, especially around the midsection. That can be cortisol issues. Chronically elevated cortisol is not what we want. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and we want it naturally elevated in the mornings because that would wake us up. We want to be able to utilize it during like high intensity interval training. Cortisol helps you lose fat, but when it's chronically elevated, then your body just goes, okay. And it doesn't have an impact on the body anymore, but it will keep you up at night. And we all, like, I don't know anybody who doesn't want to sleep. Like, we all want to sleep at night. We all want to be able to get good sleep. We all know how many great things happen when we sleep, and how much better we feel when we get it. So I think we all want to be able to sleep. So, chronically elevated cortisol is also, it's going to lend itself to stored belly fat, and it's going to lend itself to not feeling good mentally. It's going to lead to poor sleep. Poor sleep, guess what that does? If we don't get proper sleep, then our hormones are going to be jacked up. We're going to have more blood sugar imbalance. We are not going to get an adequate amount of growth hormone, and so we're not going to be recovering very well. All systems restore during sleep. So sleep is super important. It's going to throw off your digestion. Guess what happens when your digestion is poor? You are not going to break down your food properly to absorb those nutrients. So then we end up with nutrient deficiencies. That's not going to feel great. You know what can happen then? Osteoporosis. Because you're not getting all the calcium that your body needs. So without proper digestion, you're not getting proper absorption. Then another one that I wanted to bring up too is we all come into contact with a lot of different chemicals and things that our bodies aren't good for our bodies. From, possibly using Teflon pans to if you walk into a building, which I hate that this is a thing now, but like they perfume the buildings. Like my building has perfume in the lobby. Cleaning supplies, those things they're toxins, and the liver is incredible, and it detoxifies the body from so many different toxins we come into contact with. Not to mention the things that are in our food that aren't meant to be in our food, like all the crap that gets sprayed on all the crops. Like, that's literally a toxin. And you put all of those things into our body, and if our liver is not being supported, then our liver can get overloaded and it can get congested, and the gallbladder can get overloaded and get congested. The kidneys can get overloaded and get congested, and that's how we end up with like kidney stones, gallstones. When our liver is not being supported and it's sluggish, we're going to deal with more hormonal issues. We're going to deal with acne. We're going to deal with fatigue. We're going to deal with weight gain. So we want to make sure that we are supporting our detoxification pathways. We're supporting the detoxifying organs of our body, like our liver and our kidneys, so that way they can function properly. And all of this stuff works together. Then we got the thyroid. If we've got a slow and sluggish thyroid, then again, think like the thyroid is the headmaster of the metabolism. So if our thyroid slows down, then our whole metabolism slows down. We're not going to get as much hair growth. We're not going to get skin regeneration of skin cells. We're not going to be able to build muscle. So we want to support that thyroid as well as other organs of our body. So how do we do it? When we work together, one of the first things, most important things, is reviewing your food journal. What are you eating? What are you putting inside of your body? What are you not putting inside of your body? Are we just like going through life not ever eating vegetables? Are we going through life not ever eating leafy greens? Are we going through life not getting an adequate amount of fatty acids? Like we're, still stuck in like the 90s and eating a low fat diet. Are we avoiding red meat because you still believe the American Heart Association, even though it's been proven that they created these studies for like Quaker oats, and we're not eating red meat? We're missing out on really good fatty acids. We're missing out on omega-3s. We're missing out on a lot of good amino acids that our body needs to function at a high level. So reviewing that food journal, look at what we're eating, look at what we're not eating. That's going to be the biggest thing. And when I work with people, I always like to do like nutrition changes. Those are going to have the biggest impact. I mean, yeah, we can do supplements, but why not get it through food? And work on things like making sure that we get all different kinds of meats, whether it's seafood, poultry, red meat, pork, eggs, dairy if it's tolerated. And then eat the rainbow, red bell peppers, strawberries, oranges, butternut squash, yellow squash, corn, like not GMO corn, but maize, yellow corn, like non-GMO. That's probably from Mexico. Is probably going to be your best bet, because Mexico, the president said, no, America, you will not grow your GMO corn in our country. We do not spray our corn with glyphosate. And we don't want that crap down here. Bananas. You get the point. Eat the rainbow. Making sure that we're getting an adequate amount of protein, fat, fiber, carbohydrates, and getting those into a good balance based on what your specific body can tolerate and does best with. Looking at deficiencies based on those symptoms, like go back to that check engine light. What's going on here? Are we not pooping every day? Okay, cool. So maybe that means that we do need to add more fiber in. Are we dealing with all day fatigue? Okay, go back to my last client. She's not drinking an adequate amount of water. So looking at those things. Joints popping and clicking a lot, that could be a sign for the need for more magnesium and calcium. I also run HTMA tests on my clients, so hair tissue mineral analysis, so we can actually see what's inside of the cells. It goes into about 3 months because it comes from a hair sample or a fingernail sample, and so through that growth, we can kind of like see inside the cells for the last 3 months. I can actually tell you what your status is on calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, zinc, phosphorus, several others. But the big four were those first four, and looking at those and seeing where you're at, whether you need more or you've got too much. And then looking at different ratios helps me understand a little bit better what some of these symptoms could possibly mean. And then looking at the body systems, what systems of the body need to be supported? Adrenal, adrenal's not really a system, but, do the adrenals need to be supported? Does the endocrine system need to be supported? So that's going to be your hormones, whether that could potentially mean thyroid hormone all the way to, estrogen and progesterone. Does that need to be supported based on like the symptoms? Are you getting hot flashes, things like that? Perimenopause, like how's that going for you? Are you dealing with like cramps? Are you dealing with hot flashes? Are you dealing with low mood? That all goes back into endocrine system. Detoxification, so looking at like urinary issues that might be going on to the liver. Are we detoxing? Like, are we getting acne? Are we having skin problems? Looking at digestion, how does that need to be supported? Are we pooping every day? Are we bloated and gassy? Or, like you can do the corn test where you eat corn and then see how fast it ends up in your poop. Does it come out in your poop the next day? Good. That's great. If not, then that could potentially be one of those things that needs to be supported. Looking at sleep, looking just the different systems of the body, what needs to be supported there based on the symptoms. Then creating the protocol. I usually like to do about anywhere between 2 and 4 nutritional changes. About 1 to 2 lifestyle changes, because lifestyle changes can be big. But they can also be as small as just like stopping for 30 seconds to like, say your version of grace and then like slowing down to eat. That's a pretty simple one. But working on a nighttime wind down routine could be kind of a big one. So 1 to 2 lifestyle changes, and then about 1 to 2 supplement changes. Adding in a couple of supplements, maybe digestive enzymes to help with digestion, maybe adding in magnesium, maybe adding in some adrenal supporting herbs, little things like that. Layer the support in and do it slowly, because we want feedback. We want to do something. We want to make 1 or 2 changes, let them roll for a couple weeks, see how you feel. If things are starting to feel really good, then we know we're onto something. If nothing's really happening, then we know that we need to either go in a different direction, or we need to give it more time, or double down with a couple more little changes too. So root cause, guys. Otherwise, it's just a Band-Aid, and we're kind of wasting time because little BS changes, like supplement it. Like, you can't just like supplement for everything. You've got to make deeper changes. Yes, supplements can be incredibly helpful, but just reaching for a cup of coffee because you're tired, eventually that's not going to work. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. And if you want to know more about working with me, let's chat. Reach out to me, KiraWilliamsFitness.com. There's a contact form on my site, or you can just, email me, Kira@KiraWilliamsFitness.com, or DM me on one of the social media platforms, wherever you follow me, wherever you're seeing this. Thank you for watching, and let me know how I can help you.